But one of the things I thought would be great for today is for you to take a test that I give to you. Believe it or not, it was from Irish Independent magazine fitness quiz. And this is specifically geared towards families. There's 20 questions and it's simply yes or no. The more yeses you have, the more chances are that your family is in good health and fitness. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right in. Welcome back to another episode of the Brave Today podcast. This show is going to encourage, challenge, and maybe even provoke you to step outside of your comfort zone and take more action to better improve yourself and your health. Now, I'm your host, Mark Avens, and in this crazy upside down world that just keeps pushing that narrative to become softer and weaker and sicker and unhealthier and even more dependent than ever, the goal and intent of the show is to help you navigate through those things so that you can become braver today than you were yesterday. Now, today I have a very special Q&A, and that's one of the types of shows. We're going into that in more detail in just a moment. But just to let you know, a couple other types of shows that we have here for you. We do Brave guest interviews, and that's where I actually find people and have people that I admire, that I look up to, that are not only brave today, but they're also helping other people become braver today than they were yesterday. That's our Brave guest interviews. Also, we have what's called the Flavor of the Week, and that's where I'll be discussing latest news on health and fitness, picking apart diet trends and workouts and fads and pills and potions, all the latest and greatest things that are out there on the market. And I break them down, give you my opinion on them. And then lastly, we have breakthrough episodes where I'll go a little deeper dive into an area, be it physical, mental, emotional, or even spiritual, any area basically that's going to be holding you back, trying to hold you back, and providing insight and guides to help you break through to your personal health and fitness journey. And other than that, let's jump right in. Today is Brave Q&A. For today's Brave Q&A, where I usually take questions that are asked from you and answer them, I actually have a little different type of Q&A. This one is actually as a result of what we've seen happen in our inner circle. Now, for those of you who don't know, I have an inner circle coaching clients and a team of coaches that typically have worked with women in the past. I've been doing this fitness thing for almost 3 decades now, and in the last 5 years went online. And over the course of the 5 years, we've narrowed it down working with more women up until just now, where now we actually have a Brave family movement where we are actually moving forward to not only help women get off the weight loss journey, but also to help family members. And we've seen so much transformation, not just from women getting off weight loss, getting into shape, getting their body, their confidence back, all those things, developing the skill set for really truly developing good, healthy habits, lifelong habits that are going to help you succeed. And now it's helping family members. So one of the things I thought would be great for today is for you to take a test that I give to you. And it's actually not my test. I actually found this. It was, believe it or not, it was from Irish Independent magazine that did a questionnaire for families, fitness quiz. And this is specifically geared towards families. There's 20 questions. And I want you, if you're going to indulge me, to go along here. And I'd love for you to share with me how you did. So you can connect with me privately, send me a message. You can shoot me an email. You find me on YouTube, drop it down below, how well you fared. There's 20 questions and it's simply yes or no. The more yeses you have, the more chances are that your family is in good health and fitness. So let's go ahead. Let's jump right in. I'm just going to go through these and I'm going to actually answer them with you myself so you know where I stand. I'm going to actually take a note of how many yeses, how many nos. And what you could do is yes or no, make a list, and then you can just check it off. That's all I'm going to do. So here we go. Number 1, does your family get the recommended 180 minutes of exercise each week? That's for adults, and 60 minutes a day for children. So you know the recommended is 60 minutes. They could get an hour a day. Your children should be out moving, getting activity and exercising. It doesn't mean they have to go running on a treadmill, but just being active 60 minutes a day. So is that a yes or no? So for me, it's a yes. Number 2, do you cook the majority of your evening meals? So dinner. So for me, that's a yes. We go out maybe once or twice a week. We have date night on Thursday nights. Now for me, you may have kids at home. You may have teenagers. I have kind of in between. So I have one of our kids is 20. I say kids, young adults. And he moved here with us from Colorado and is actually pretty soon going to be on his own, just making the transition and setting things up for himself. So he is here, but he makes all of his meals himself. And he actually does eat the majority of his meals at home. My daughter's in Hawaii. She eats the majority of her meals at home. So I would say as a family in a whole, you can do that as well. See, like, you guys eat the majority of your evening meals, and do you cook them? Meaning, do you cook them and have them at home? So that's a yes. Number 3, does your family watch less than the average 3 hours and 28 minutes of TV per day? What blew me away is that's the average that people are watching on TV per day, 3.5 hours. I don't know where you have the time to do that unless you're retired or unemployed, or I don't know, are you staying up late at night? For me, that is, yes, I watch less than that. I would say we probably watch a show maybe in the evening, a little rerun of Seinfeld. We don't have cable TV, we have internet, and we really sometimes watch some YouTube. That's about it. Really, we just don't have the time, and I don't really find there's much on TV worth watching anyway. So for us, that's a yeah. So I'm 3 for 3. How are you guys doing so far? Number 4, do you have a car-free day at least once a week? That sounds actually really enticing, but I haven't. I would say when we were in Florida, we tried to do that. And actually, we were pretty successful. But right now, I'd probably say I don't. So that's going to be a no. That's a no on the right side. So I got 1 no and 3 yeses. Number 5, where possible, does each member of the family cook at least 1 meal for the family each week? And I would say now for my wife and I, yes, I actually made a great stew. We had bison meat and I made a bison stew. My wife doesn't eat that. My son does. I made that yesterday. The night before that, I forget what she made for us the night before that, but she made dinner. That was the night before, but yes. And then I'd say my son, he grills usually once a week and he makes extra. So that's a yes. So I'm doing pretty good. I hope you guys are doing well too. Now you're like, well, what if your kids are younger? Maybe you're asking that question. I have like 6-year-olds or 7-year-olds. Well, it doesn't mean they can't help prepare a meal. They can maybe even help with the vegetables or help with the salad or help setting the table, those type of things. And that should be something that should be stirring in your head, developing healthier habits, right? Now, number 6, we are on number 6. Have you exercised or done something active with your kids in the last week or on a weekly basis? And I would say we have 1 at home and 1 that's not. And I say kids because ours are older. And when our kids were younger, I would say definitely, whether it was skateboarding or biking or surfing or going to the beach or just getting outside and playing ball, doing that sort of stuff, being active and exercising, even going to the gym. Our kids have gone to the gym with us before, but that's definitely a yes. So I'm good on that one. Number 7, do your children do sports either in or out of school? Probably sports like on a team sports. They did while they were in school. They both participated in team sports, tried different things from softball to volleyball to soccer to flag football to let's say I said volleyball. Yeah, all kinds of different sports in and out of school. Yes, they have done that. And now as far as currently, my son, he works out. He's at a gym. He does really training. He's doing bodybuilding, body and conditioning. So I would say that's not really a sport. So as far as my daughter isn't currently, I'll have to say right now they're not. So let's just make that a no. Currently, as far as sports, they're active and they're not playing a sport. Does your family do a weekly food shop, grocery shopping, essentially? Go weekly. Yes, we have Costco and then we use Trader Joe's. Those are kind of our 2 favorite places to do shopping. I don't like our regular grocery stores, although we do a weekly and we have a menu. Most of the time we do pretty well on that menu. And then holiday is a little bit different, but I will say for the most part, we are on track. And then my daughter's actually doing the same because she's on her own at the moment in Hawaii and food shop, and they do weekly. So that's a yes, to do a weekly food shop. Sometimes we go twice a week, but most of the time it's like once a week. And we usually do that over the weekend. Number 9, we're on number 9. How are you guys doing so far? So far, I have 6 yeses and 2 nos. So I'm doing pretty good. Number 9, do you eat your meals together as a family without phones or TV? I wish I could say yes to this one. We don't eat all our meals together. My wife and I tend to, as far as like our dinner, but not all of our meals. I don't know really too many people that do that at all. And then without phones or TV. And I would have to say no, because I would say it's probably 50-50 for us. So we could probably do better on that one. Number 10, do you exercise together as a family at least 3 times a month, all together as a family? And well, my daughter is not here. So if your family now, if it's just you, if you're empty nesters, like we're pretty much close to being now, my wife and I do go to the gym. So actually for that one, as far as at least 3 times a month, that's a yes. And I do work out with my son too. And we go just about once a week to the gym together, which is really fun. Side note, you start doing active stuff, healthy stuff. And then your kids kind of become teenagers, and then they end up coming back around and they want to do some fun things with you, active things. So side note, for those of you that maybe you don't think your kids can get active and involved, just show them versus tell them, and they will definitely come back around for you. So that was number 10. So let's see, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do you all eat breakfast every morning? Definitely, we are a breakfast family. We eat every morning. We are on number 12. And so far, I have 3 no's and I have 8 yeses so far. So the next one, are your family readers? Yeah. So I will admit, up until a couple of years ago, I was really a terrible reader. And then I actually got some help. This is, no affiliation with this, Jim Quick. And it was Limitless, this book. And I read this book and it was amazing. And he's actually a speed reading coach. And I learned some tricks that literally just changed the course of my reading habits. I've been a little off lately with all the stuff and moving and getting into a new house and so forth. But I will say it was a game changer. And yes, we are readers. My son actually finishing up 75 hard this week. He's been reading every day. And my daughter, I don't keep track of how much she reads, but I say as far as our family, we are a family of readers. So that's a yes on there for us. Do your children bring a packed lunch to school? So I would say now my kids are older, but when my kids were younger and all through, they never had the cafeteria food. They always brought a packed lunch. And then to the point where, this is a side note and hopefully a helpful tip for you parents out there with young ones, we made it a point in our house, and I don't remember the exact age, but it was a lot younger than most people that I've heard, where their kids start making their own food as we make dinner. And if they don't like what they make, then they make their own dinner and they can figure it out. Well, that turned into creating some really good habits, our kids making their own food instead of just mom and dad, providing for them all the way through. My son, his first 2 years in college, prepped all his food. He didn't eat in the university or college where he was at ever. He never had cafeteria food in the university, which is pretty awesome. So he actually learned how to cook at a young age, and that crossed over into him being at school for 2 years and making all of his meals virtually at home, which is great. Learning how to cook at a young age was really, really helpful, making your own way. I think those are just good life skills, right? And the younger you can teach your kids that, the better. So that is number 13. As far as packed lunch, that would be a yes for me. Let's go in the next one, 14. Do your children walk or cycle to school or rollerblade or bike? And now we're not talking electric bikes or scooters where they're like not pedaling and they're just standing and they're pushing their thumb on the button for the motorized. We're talking like using their bodies and being active. Do your children walk or cycle to school? Well, our school, when their kids were younger, they were right at the end of our street was our elementary school. So we walked them. Middle school, my son rode his bike. I rode with him in the beginning to get him used to it. It was about 2 miles down the side road. It was a safe road, and he did bike. And then my daughter did a little bit. And then I would say only a little bit in middle school did I drive, but for the most part, they did walk or cycle to school. We fortunately lived close. We weren't too rural and away from the school where they have to, so far away. That's a yes for us as well. Man, I only have right now 3 no's. So we're doing quite well. Can your family name all the nutritional headings on the back of a food label and know what they mean? So I'll ask you first, can you name all of the nutrition headings on the back of a food label and know what they mean? Like, basically there's a difference between the calories and then the serving size and the proteins and the fats and the carbs and the ingredients and what to look for. Now, does your family understand that? Our family does. They're a little older, but we did teach them at a young age. Here's all the artificial colors and all the garbage in there. It's why we're not bringing it home. Now, we didn't deprive our kids of all like junk food. And they had Pop-Tarts and they had donuts here and there. And they had, Gatorades and sugary drinks and sodas and things like that. And still, we have never like banned them from our house. We just didn't make it a point to have really a lot of access to them. So I would say in that, the nutrition heading, that's a yes. So where that was number 15, number 16, the adults in your house consume less than 11 standard drinks a week. This is for women, and then 17 standard drinks a week for men. Now, this one I will say, because this isn't Irish, and I don't know, I am Irish, so I can say this. I'm not sure if that's the exact same stats as for the United States, but I would imagine, I know a lot of people that drink a lot. For us, fortunately, the adults in our house, which is my wife and I, maybe a beer after a hike, once in a while, maybe once every other week, something like that. That's about it for us. I'm not opposed to alcohol at all. It's just something that I realize more of it will be not as beneficial to my overall goals and my health. So again, on that, you're basically on this one is if you're drinking a lot, that's a no. If you're drinking less than 11, man, I think of like 6 or 7 drinks a week. That's still a lot, right? And maybe if you're just binging that on the weekend, that's an awful lot. So yes or no, you can, subjective to how you want to call that one. Are you drinking too much or are you not much of a drinker? You can give a yes if you're not much of a drinker and a no. And again, I guess it's all relative to your surroundings and environment as well. You might be around a lot of heavy drinkers and you drinking 11 is not that big. For us, we're good. We're yes on that. Number 17. Do your family members sleep 8 hours a night each? I would say that's probably no. I would say probably more like 6 to 8. Man, I try to shoot for 8 hours. And I know when you get older, you get up more. My wife's a light sleeper. She's been complaining about my snoring lately. I don't know if it's the colder weather, maybe it's the beard, who knows? But I do know that I probably average about 6.5 to 7, at least from my Aura ring, and tells me my sleep habits. So I'm getting usually 6.5 to 7. So I would say we are definitely a no on that one. Number 18, do you have a phone-free hour in your family's day? Man, I try to get a phone-free hour. I would have to say this one's 50-50. I'm going to put this as I don't have like a regimented phone-free hour that I do. I've done that before, but I would say currently for our family, that's probably a no, which again, that one is number 18, and that one I need to work on. I think I would love to actually not have a phone-free hour. I'd love to have, doesn't this just sound good to have a phone-free day? Like I actually did do that for a little while. It was on a Sunday. I tried to have a phone-free day. It was really hard, but I remember, and it felt like so much freedom. Number 19, do you as parents lead by example in terms of healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle? And I think it's safe to say for us, based on all the yeses, that is a yes. And this is a really important one. Do you as parents lead by example in terms of healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle? Doesn't say, are your kids healthy? Are you helping your kids be healthier? Are you as parents leading by example? For us, that's a definite yes. Number 20, this is the last one. Do you have a treat food night every now and again? Absolutely. We definitely have, my wife and I like our sweets. I think our whole family likes sweets. If it was like sweets or savory or something like that, or the fried stuff, but I would say yes, we do. Probably a little bit more now than we should over the holidays. But we do have a treat food night. It's not like we blow it out of the water, but we'll go out and have date night and have a dessert, or when we have family, we'll get together and kids will get together and we'll have some treat. We'll go out to eat and have some ice cream, or maybe have a donut on a weekend morning or something like that, which will be good. So other than that, I would say yes. So how did you fare? Those are the 20 questions. And I'd like to know, as far as then, this is between you and you. So here, to understand better where your family's health at, you can literally, on all these 20 questions, add up. For me, I had 5. Oh, I say really had 3 strong no's, but I had 5. I put 5 no's and I had 15 yeses. So I would say that would be on a scale of, if it's 20 and a percentage, about a 75. I guess that's about a 75%, right? 15 out of 20 yeses. There's room for improvement for me. I'm the coach, and I'd love to know where you're at. This could be a great thing to work on, and maybe where you have the no's, and go back and listen to this and go through it again. Maybe where you have 8 no's, what's one of those no's? You can look for the lowest hanging fruit. What's one of those no's that you can actually move over to a yes? One of the things that I can do to move over to a yes is the 8 hours of sleep. I know when I get 8 hours of sleep, it's a solid night's sleep. And I know when I work out hard, the recovery, stressful days, long days, cold days, all those things, having a good night's sleep is very, very important. It's kind of like rebooting your phone, right? You want to reboot your body. That can be something I work on to really try to strive for getting 8 hours a day. The other thing is that phone-free hour. For me, that would be really, really valuable. To have a phone-free hour that I have dedicated once a day would be really, really helpful. I don't know about for you, but I know that's one that I can easily move to, from one direction, from the no to the yes. So anyway, I hope this helped. And in that, my challenge for you is, How can you improve that score? After you go through it, do your time. If you're 10 out of 20, you got a 50%. How can you bump that up to maybe a 60% in the next couple of weeks? Maybe through the holiday season, it could be something you don't wait until the New Year's to do. You could get on it now so that not only you can be healthier and happier, your family can as well. And you know what? That does take ultimately what the conversations we have here is to help you become braver today than you were yesterday. Ultimately, that is my entire goal for this podcast, to help you make better decisions so you can become braver today than you were yesterday. Thank you so much for taking time to watch the show. I really, really appreciate it. And then also lastly, if you enjoyed the episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, just please subscribe, hit that subscribe button, share the show with your friends. And then you can also stay up to date with the Brave Today show to get behind the scenes content on Facebook, on YouTube. I'm also dabbling in LinkedIn again. And then if you're on my email list, you can find that. And I send out great helpful tips and fitness advice through email. Let me know, shoot me a question. And I hope you guys have an amazing, blessed day. Take care.